So I thought I'd do a workflow video on how I start a piece of music, how I compose it, produce it, mix it, etc. Keep it at 16 bars, so it's fairly kind of simple, but basically what would happen from there is that I would take that 16 bar loop and then use that as inspiration and build in, break it down, etc. This is the track that I'll be doing. The instrumental version. I've got massively back into scratching, so I'll do a scratch version as well, which you can see also here. Don't know why I'm doing that, it's just going to jump straight to it. Mention is I didn't realise that it just wouldn't pick up my computer screen properly, but I did narrate the whole thing, talk you through it, so it kind of doesn't matter. I'll explain everything as I go along, so that should be fine. Also, I've replaced, you'll notice, the Pro 3 sound. I wasn't that happy with it when I started doing like a final little mini mix of it. With another Pro 3 sound, so essentially the Pro 3, I just changed it and tweaked it, and then the same thing with the grandmother. I'll explain while I'm in there, when I'm doing the video, that I don't like that particular sound, so I went back and did another little grandmother skit over the top. It's just a nice sort of simple layered instrumental. And yeah, hope you like it. So I thought I'd do a workflow video, kind of like just building a loop, so the start of a track really. I'll use the 303, Digitact, the West Pest, some of my synths over there which you'll have seen a second ago. Ableton Live. I'll try and stay out where the shot, and it's not the best shot, but hopefully you'll get something out of it. And yeah, here it goes. So I'll start with, I've loaded up the Digitact already, just because that controls, that's my clock for everything else. So it takes the clock from Ableton into Digitact, and then the Digitact clocks everything else apart from the 303, that's USB. Just because that's how I wanted it. It can clock it. So yeah, I'll start with the 303, and I'll try and use some kind of beat sound rhythm that I've just got programmed straight up basically. So just work from there, see what happens. So let's crank that up a bit, turn that off. Turn you on. Put my headphones on. Okay, so that sounds bizarre, but it's good. going to go with that. We'll try and keep this like a quick workflow. So I'll bang a tuner on my master track so that I can just check everything's in tune. So it's utilities, Ableton tuner, and we'll just see what the 303 is saying. E, F sharp. The tuner's here. Just take the word for it. So I'm going to put it in an A. Like, nice. On A. Work with that. I've got to go through the Digitact, so we'll just have a little look at what's going in. So it's more on the right. So no reverb from the Digitact. Like a bit of reverb on the 303. Tiny bit of delay. So I'm going to go with that. Right, next up I'll bang in the West Pest. So start labelling up. Because these are going through my Digitact, I'm going to need a couple of tracks recording from the Digitact, which is Ableton, audio from Digitact. I only want the 303 at the minute. Don't want the West Pest, so I'll make sure that's down. Everything on here is muted, and the 303 is coming through. Yeah, so I'll record that in and we'll do it on the timeline. Going to do it at about 90 BPM. So I've chosen 90 BPM because I'm probably going to scratch over it. I've got right back into scratching. 90 is a nice BPM. And currently the 303 is in A, so 90 BPM, A. So we'll record this. I quite like that. A bit more gain on that, and then I can control it better after. So do it again. I'll just do each loop at the minute for like 4 bars and we'll build something up. Right, so bearing in mind latency, if I was doing this live I would put a slight delay on the Digitact because it's clocking everything, but I'm going to do like really quick production, so what I'll do is just tighten it straight up because the Digitact is like bang on. The clock on the Digitact is really good. I've tried all sorts of different things and it's bang on, so I'm just going to tighten it up like that, straight in, sort the ends out, so make it 4 bars. There's that, and then label this as 303. So now turn that off and I'm working with the audio here. Right, so I'm going to move on to the West Pest, which is there. And we need that to be in key. That's going into the Digitact as well. So what we'll do is take off record arm with a 303. I'm going to mute you, turn you down, and we're now going to see what we can hear from the West Pest. So again, Digitact in, record arm, or I can hear it then. So I've got the West Pest on a MIDI channel in the Digitact. It's on MIDI channel 2, and turn it up. Might be a bit ear bleeding. Yeah, that's alright. We can work out levels later. It's nice to get a good signal going in. So I've got that on here. I've literally just put in 2 notes, 2 notes, and I've put those in as oh, in here, pain in the arse. Right, ignore what I put the notes in as here. We're going to tune that to A, same as the 303. So let's just wiggle it about so that it is here and see it. So master, just got, so in a minute it's in between G sharp, F. So let's just get this up to A. Hit and miss, but we'll see what it sounds like with this. Yeah, sounds slightly. Okay, so let's just do it this way. Yeah, just there we go. It's better. Right, so that with that, both in A, and bring you in. So I'm going to record that in, and we've got 303 and the West Pest, literally A, right, nice and simple, straightforward. So let's bring you in. So we'll do 4 bars, we'll just check latency wise on this. It's slightly tighter, it's not, hang on, but it's quite nice to be a bit here and here. Would I muck about with that? It's about, no point, it's like less than, way less than 3 mil. Yeah, right, let's have a listen. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with that. Right, so we'll save this. Not saved it yet, so save as. We'll save it in and we'll make a new one, new folder. What did I call the Premiere Pro? It was called How To. We'll call it new folder and How To in the folder for this project. So How To 1. And then we'll call it How To 1. So there's that. So okay, so 303, West Pest, nice and simple, straightforward, 90 BPM, just 2 keys of A currently, with different rhythms. So I would say next, I would start to work on probably percussion. Would have thought. Let's do that. So if we bring in, let's bring in just some hats, right? See how that sounds. We'll turn that off now because we've recorded it in, and when I say that off, I'm turning the West Pest off now because that's recorded in. So now we're going to focus just on the Digitac drums. So we'll put on just some hats and see what that sounds like. just listen to it over and over. Yeah, I like those there. It's some of my drums I just put on kick, hat, snare. I've already put in a bit of swing, which I can tell you is 57% swing from 50. So the positive side of swing, but don't worry too much about that. So you can hear that there's just a dash of swing to it. Yeah, okay, I like that. So I'm now going to bring in, what I'd like to do is, I'm a big fan of sidechain, both for mixing techniques, so subtle sidechain, and then I also quite like it as an effect, like big fat obvious sidechain. So I'm going to bring in a ghost kick, and we'll sidechain these two synths to the ghost kick. So let's bang in a new audio track. So I'm going to use an audio kick for this. Rename it Ghost. I'll bring in, I know what I'm going to bring in, it will be just a clean kick, dead simple clean kick. And I'm going to do it every, so let's have a quick listen. I'll turn the volume down on the Ghost, but let's just go 1, 2, 3, yeah. So we'll repeat it so that there's basically 4 beats per bar. So there's that, and now turn the Ghost down, completely down. So 0 volume. Always start from the beginning so we don't get lost. So you can't hear the kick whatsoever, but if we now, let's say group, oh I didn't rename you, let's rename you to, you're the West West, aren't you? So West. So let's group the 303 and the West together. Highlight them, right click, group tracks, and we'll call it for now anything, loop 1, it's probably synth loop, anyway it doesn't matter. Then within here I'll use one compressor on the group so that it affects these two exactly the same. So we'll go to audio effects. I'm just going to use an Ableton glue compressor. Works quite nice. Open that up, sidechain, input from Ghost, and then as I start to bring the threshold down, you'll start to notice that I'll put the kick on actually as well, so you can actually hear what I'm doing. So I've got the kick and the hats on now, so let's listen to it without any sidechain. Right, and then those with sidechain will be, let's start bringing it in, we'll loop it. Ooh. Without sidechain, muddy as fuck, tighter. Now we can sort out like the overall mix later, but doing this now, I'm starting to be able to do really rough mixing as I go along. So I'm going to save that. Got the Ghost sidechain, 90 BPM, in A, and that's it so far. So I think next I'll move to the Pro 3 synth. Yeah, so Pro 3. So if I see if I can just whiz it around. Oh, get out, it's made to measure. So that should be focused. Okay, so on here, I'd already come up with literally a preset elephant. So, you know, obviously the video is kind of like my work flow. It's not like my sound design flow or my mixing flow. It's how I come up with a loop to then turn into a track. So again, really boring. I'm going to start with A. Right, so nothing there. So within Ableton, within the same group, I'll open up a new track. I'll assign that to my Pro 3. Record arm it, so when I'm ready I can hear it. That's got my grandmother going through my HX stomps. If I just mute that. There we go, right. So that's the Pro 3. I tweaked the preset a bit. It's not exactly the same, but I don't mind that. We'll do that for now. Right, so just going to put that underneath and see how that sounds. So we'll I'll double this loop. No, we'll do 1, 2, yeah, just we'll do 8 bars. So, and then I don't have to worry about it coming back round too quickly. So 8 bars on here, looped. So it's all exactly the same. I know you can't see it, but I've basically just duplicated what I've already got there. Put in the Pro 3 sound ready. It's in with the sidechained group, and before I record it, I'll just play it and see what it sounds like. That's loud and horrendous and brash and harsh at the minute. That's I do like it, right? So I'm going to record that in, and then we'll kind of tweak that, sort of again mix it on the fly. Because I like it, I'm going to call it U4P7, so then won't forget U4P7, which setting it is, because I've done a few bits to it. I'm going to record over it, so that's now that. And let it record, and we'll give it a go. Now I'll bring the camera back round and you can see what's going on, or roughly see what's going on, I suppose. Again, I'll try and stay out of the way, so if I do it that way I should be out of the way, and I'll just have to talk you through it really, because I'm filming this myself, so I can't really follow myself about too much. So, yeah, so we've just recorded in the Pro 3, which is on top of the 303, top of the West Pest, with the Digitac drums, and within the same group as the Ghost kick. And I often do side chains separately. This is kind of just as a bit of an example. Oh, turn that back round so I can see what I'm doing. But yeah, so let's have a listen back, see what it's like. So, too much going on there, let's just get rid of it. Okay, so I took the first 4 bars of it because I preferred that, chopped that down, duplicated it, so now it's just that. It's still, you know, a mess, it's still in its infancy, it's not mixed correctly, not even started mixing it, just a very, very rough mixing as I go through it. But that's that for now. So now I'm going to move on to the Grandmother, try and layer something on that. So a new audio track, there will be a nice little bit of artifacty noise because I've got the Grandmother going through a HX Stomp, which is a guitar pedal, but it sounds dead nice, I think, with like proper analog synths. So rename that Grandmother. Again, it's within the same loop group, so I'll have the same side chain. Effects will record on that, make sure nothing else is recorded on so you don't accidentally record over what you've done. And bring that in, it's channel 1 and 2 on here, which would still be that, but I'm not going to use that now because I've recorded it on the channel above. So let's just turn our attention to the Grandmother, which is there. I think that'll do, won't it? I don't have to get too fancy. Hopefully I'm talking you through it okay. Right, let's put the cans back on. So at this point, I'll press play, loop it, and have a play around with the Grandmother. Yeah, we'll just do that, that'll do. So we'll record that in, if I can remember it. My headphones trapped. Re-record that. It's got my headphones trapped around the stool. Right, let's re-record that. spin you back around and show you where I'm at again. I'll try and keep it me out of the way a bit. I'm kind of trying to do this quick so you can get some out of it and see it. So you'll hear the artifacts, the background noise of the HX stomps. I'm just gonna, well, I won't really need to mute that. What I could do is that and then business. So it's gonna be chop that bit. Let me just spin this back around. Yep. So chop. It was the first one I like. Let's duplicate that. Not the first one. That one. Let's have a listen. So that will do for that. Still needs loads and loads of work, but I'm going to move on to the next synth. So I'm going to put in a mini freak, which will be on channels 3 and 4. Just got you on. Let's put you on auto for now. And then I should have a sound set up on this, but I can't remember what I did with it, so we'll have a look. So, yeah. So the mini freak's above the grandmother. Can I hear it? Let's see what it sounds like. Oh yeah, sounds good. Right, yeah. Okay. We'll do that and we'll record that in. And then we'll just mix it dead quickly. Look at what's going on with the freak sound, which is 82. So I'll rename this freak 82. So I know which preset I'm at. Flip that back around and here, yep. So immediately too loud, so let's just bring it in. Yeah, quite like that so far. Mix wise, we need to sort out some dead simple stuff. So mega simple, I'm just gonna roll off bottom ends and top ends EQ wise. But individually, whether I do that now, I don't know if there's any point in me doing it on camera. I could do it and then just show you what I've done. But before I do that, the idea was to come up with something I was going to scratch to basically. So if I bring in turntables, so we'll put in, I don't want turntables within the sidechain group, want them separate, so I don't want that then being affected like that. So they're on 5 and 6. I'll put them in so I don't need to hit record.
This how we get down.
That sound will do for now. So I'll loop this and then you'll get an idea. I should just be able to now bring this over here. Right, let's just have a, try and do this fast without then having to edit it. So bring that blind down. So, oh, that's up. That's up, Johnny. Yeah, so bring that down. Yep, that'll do. That sound will do. So, so for example, this. So yeah, so it's kind of like a scratch over something, but then build a piece of music out of it afterwards. So I guess I'm going to do like the world's fastest recap. Put this here, dogs won't like it. My dogs are on my armchair behind this camera. Let's just... Now, yeah, you get the idea. I probably didn't focus in on my turntables, but that doesn't matter. So let's get this blind back open for a bit of natural light. And I don't really need these on now. So, yeah, the idea of me doing this, I've not done it before, I don't think. Anyway, might have done. Was just to show you like a really quick workflow process. One of the things I will mention is when I use, say I'll go, oh, I'm going to start with A, something dead simple. I forget my scales all the time. I don't practice them enough in the slightest, and they're only simple scales and they're easy to remember, and then I forget them. I don't practice them, and then that's that. So say I end up using, say, a B flat, I'll quickly Google piano scales, images of piano scales, and just double check which scale I could use that's got A and B flat. So in this case it's B flat major. So I could go through all of that, which is what I'd do later on in the tune when I start working on it more. For now I'm happy with it in terms of having a quick scratch over it, something to scratch to. But what I'll do next is mix it and then add more to it, and then bring it in, drop it, take it out, bring it in, do some cuts, do an outro, mix it. Very, very rough mastering, not real mastering. You know, mastering engineers are amazing. I do like mastering, I do master my own stuff, but it's not the same as a proper mastering engineer with a mastering studio, but that doesn't really matter. So yeah, I'll get on with that and I'll be back in a tick. So I thought I'd talk you through how I've mixed it. It's super simple stuff. Like, I've done really simple quick mixing on this. Mega simple, but it's just so that you know how achievable it is. I apologise once again, I've not got any screen sharing software, so I'm literally just filming my screen, but I'll talk you through it. I'll bring up the different things that I've done, I'll point to them. Hopefully you'll be able to see it, hear it and understand what I'm saying. So we'll just start with the kicks. Dead simple. I'd already processed my kicks in my Digitact, so I was quite pleased with those anyway, but in terms of an overall mix with everything else, they still needed a little bit of work so that they sounded alright basically. So that is just these is kicks, hats, snare, right? I group them together into here. I put on a compressor first and then EQ second, just to brighten them up and tidy them up, right? So without it, with the EQ and compression, so it's just got that extra bit of presence. I've done quite a simple thing, no release, big ratio and attack, tiny bit of makeup, thresholds crazy, which is fine, and then on the EQ side of things, just took a tiny bit of low frequency out but sort of boosted it slightly, high frequency ever so slightly up. You kind of just tidy it up really, because you'll start to hear your mix, so and you'll start to hear things come through. So you want things to come through your mix basically, and you want to get rid of some bottom end of things. I've got rid of the 45 Hertz at the bottom of the drums, and I've got rid of that on most of, well, everything I think. I'll show you as I go through, but the big tip is to get rid of like the bottom 40 Hertz really. It's just clears up the mud. But that's all I did with the kicks. I did a bit more stuff with the synths. So synth wise, I did compression first, EQ second again. There's lots of different orders you can do things. You can do compression, EQ, compression. You can do whatever you want. You could do compression, EQ, if you want, if it works. It's best not to go too kind of complicated, but certain things sound nice with compression and then EQ, and other things sound nice with EQ and then compression. So yeah, so with the 303, let's just solo that. So that's with what I've done. Get rid of that. You can kind of barely hear it, but in a mix you can hear it a lot. So it's got rid of tiny bit of low end and mud. West Pest, similar thing. So EQ and then compression on this. A different compressor. It just works better for this kind of sound. So without it, and then with it, and what I've done is I've got rid of the low end here, boosted it ever so slightly at 1K, and then left it alone, and then done some compression. So with it, sounds just tighter and more presence. The EP7 I mentioned earlier, I got rid of that and I replaced it with EP10. I'll show you that now actually, may as well. and with this I took a lot out of the low end and quite a big chunk out of the top end, and it sounds like this. It's basically still the Pro 3, I just tweaked it. So it sounds like that, and without this EQ, didn't need a compressor. It's just got a lot of like rumble in there, which I didn't want. Just wanted to get rid of that rumble. And then the grandmother, I got rid of the other grandmother thing because I was just like, I don't like that. This, I can't believe I've not added anything to it. That's almost a mistake, but it is what it is, so we'll leave it as it is. I would have got rid of quite a lot of bottom end, but it's okay. So this is what I've replaced the grandmother with. Not replaced the grandmother with, re-recorded the grandmother. I can even hear that needs like EQing and compression, but never mind, missed it. Freak, I just got rid of the low end again. Do it loads, just get rid of the low end, bit of compression. Similar to what I did before, bit of makeup, thresholds not so harsh. Ratios 4 and 10, it's crazy, I quite like 4:1, but it doesn't really matter. I left release on auto, just out of interest. I don't normally do that, but it worked. So without it, it is... Oh no, that's grandma. Back to the Freak. So without it, soloed. And then with it, soloed. And it's just tidies this area up down here. Like, this is massively important. And then outside of that, that's it. There's a lot more I would do and can do, but I did want to keep it as simple as possible. Just write some music, come up with some sounds, mix them roughly on the fly, and just get it to gel together so you can see that there's only a small amount of things that you need to do. It's just you need to wrap your ear around it, really. Other than that, once you've got the grips of this, you can then really start making things tasty and sweetening things up. And there's so much you can do with automation and all sorts of stuff, but this was just a simple composition, some synthesizers, bit of EQ, bit of compression, and your ears. Job's a good one, really.